There we go. Okay, so thank you for joining us for the October YuZoom. Just a reminder, we have a packed agenda, so we'll be moving through. If you have any questions, please put those in the chat, and then we'll have hopefully some time at the end for question and answer, at which point you can unmute yourself and ask any questions you have. We'll try and answer in the chat or as we're working through during the presentation. Otherwise, we'll try and get to them at the end. With that, I will hand it off to Dr. Dotson.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are doing well. It's fantastic to see you. We have two really important presentations today, so I'm going to try and be focused and be brief with my portion of the agenda here. I want to start by just sharing that our College Council, after their review, has recommended our final education master plan. So that document will go to the Board of Trustees. They will be approving it at their October board meeting. We are certainly looking forward to that part of the EMP being finished and to us moving into implementing some of the things we've agreed to do as a group to make a difference for our students, to provide them with better opportunities to equitably access our institution, succeed while they're here, and find career and transfer. So thank you to everyone who has done work on that. At the board, I'm certainly going to try and recognize as many people as possible who have played an integral role, but I want to be clear that that's really all of us. So many of you participated in surveys, in focus groups, in feedback sessions, provided feedback to your constituent leaders who were on the steering committee, had discussions, contributed to what that plan looks like. So thank you to everyone who has made that EMP possible. I can't wait to get started. I also wanted to just touch base really briefly on some of the safety issues that have been happening on and around campus. I am hopeful to work with our partner, Chief Ferris, to provide a more detailed update, but I know that there have been some things happening in and around our area out here in Yuba County that have been challenging. I wanted to make sure that you know that since I first started at Yuba College, Chief Ferris and I met and talked about safety issues and about how they would be addressed on campus. And one of the first things that we agreed to was no matter what day or what time, if something was happening on or near Yuba College, that we would connect and touch base. He is exceptional at that. It doesn't matter what day or what time. I know he feels bad sometimes when he calls, but if something is happening and he hears it on the scanner or I see it happening, we touch base, and our first focus is making sure that if there's any impact to the institution, that we figure out a way what is appropriate to communicate as quickly as possible. We're going to talk more about some of the things that we have been doing over the last few years to try and address some of those safety issues, and how Chief Ferris and I partner to respond when there are things that happen, and what that looks like more broadly at a future meeting. But I wanted to just start by saying that we do connect whenever anything happens, even when it's not on Yuba College's campus, to make sure that if there is any impact on campus, that we communicate the things that need to be communicated right away. So looking forward to talking to you more about what that looks like moving forward. And now, as you all know, we are going to be holding probably our first drill in a very, very long time on November 7th. And we have two individuals who are going to talk us through fire drill training. For many of us, it's been a while. We had COVID and we weren't in our classrooms and in person. And so we haven't done this for a bit. And so we want to make sure, first and foremost, that we're communicating to as many people as possible, that we're trying to return to this sort of emergency response practice and planning, but that we also are just sort of rebuilding that foundation about what happens in those drills. So without further ado, I want to invite Brian Vazuzzi and Dale Vogelsong to unmute themselves, and they are going to run through fire drill training.
Thank you. I think Brian elected me to take lead since I missed a safety meeting, so I appreciate that, sir.
I'm your backup.
Yes, you are. And I appreciate it. So, our fire alarm drill coming up is really just one little piece of the puzzle, and it's really an evacuation drill, right? The event is a simulated fire, but the function of evacuating the campus could be for a chemical alert, could be for a myriad of different scenarios. So the skill sets are the same as far as accountability and making clear the responsibilities for everybody. Next slide. So our goals for this drill is to ensure all persons evacuate the building. We've seen a great deal of information in the media when folks don't evacuate. Bad things can happen. So we want to make sure it's clear the expectations for our folks to leave their workplace and go to their rally points. We are coordinating the response with local first responders. I'm meeting with Chief Ekstrom from Linda Fire next week, just to kind of tell them what the scope is for this event, and actually ask him to give us feedback the day of the event to help us right size our processes. After that initial conversation, definitely get feedback to improve our process or communication methods. Usually the weak link in any kind of drill or emergency event is communication. So that's okay. This is our first try at this for a while. So we just want to make sure we have good notes and make sure we understand what are some possible solutions. Identify those barriers to success. Maybe this is understanding that it's a true event, or making it clear what we expect of staff, students, and everybody on campus. That last step will be to identify future actions. In other words, if we have found that our fire alarm notification system, the PA, so to speak, is ineffective, then we need to look at that, find out what are some other methods we can use. If our communication systems aren't reaching everybody. So for example, when you think about communicating an event like this, there's usually multiple layers of communication. One might be an instant message on the workstation. One might be code red type alerting. Catapult is our main system here. But the challenge is not everybody has every means of communication on them at any given time. So we want to make sure we have redundancy. And that's one of the things we're going to be looking at. You have a slide, please. So expectations for everyone: cooperate during the emergency drill. Please leave your workplace when we ask you politely. We will ask politely. And understand the importance of not being a bystander. If in a true event you see something happening that needs to be reported, we want to make sure that you get that information to the building captains, but not take actions yourself, right? Make sure that you're in a safe place to report that new information. And take an active part in the incident response or recovery as appropriate within your level of training and expectations. And I know there's going to be building captains training happening soon that'll help differentiate what those expectations are. Slide, please. So building captains, I know this training is coming up October 12th and a couple other dates here. This is kind of the concept of a fire warden in an apartment complex or something like that. But these are the folks who are the first point of contact for safety incident in that building. So everyone should know who their building captain is. So when they see their building captain coming by and knocking on the window, they know, oh, something's up. Part of that organization with the building captains is to partner with campus safety and management to make sure that students, faculty, staff, and everybody is in their evacuation place. One of the challenges with any kind of evacuation drill is accountability. Do we have a good head count? Do we know if Susie was here or not today? Well, I'm not sure. Are we looking for Susie, or did Susie work from home today? So those are some of the challenges that the building captains are going to have, that knowing who's here and who's not in any given day or time period. So that's just going to be one of the things that we'll be evaluating. In our slide here, maybe please. So for everybody in a true emergency, we're going to call 911 or 911 to make sure that we activate that system. If we communicate on our internal systems, help isn't going to arrive from the outside. So we got to make sure we get that 911 call placed. Again, we're going to take steps to ensure the safety of everybody. We're going to direct students in your charge, in other words, as faculty or otherwise, we're going to follow that guidance of the building captain to make sure we get them where they need to be, and so that we can get a good head count. You need to report any missing students, employees, or visitors to that building captain, and make sure that the incident commander / building captain is following through to make sure we have good accountability. Because again, this is an evacuation drill based on a fire condition. Next slide, please. So our timeline will have some kind of alarm sound. Text and email will also go out. All buildings at Yuba College will participate in the drill at the same time. So everybody should evacuate those buildings and make sure that they're in their pre-designated assembly areas. I know, for example, for this building, we have 2 different assembly areas because it's a larger building and we have different folks doing different activities. So we may have Fire Academy folks in the backyard, and that's going to be their designated evacuation site where the majority of the building will go to the front. So that building captain has a little bit more work to do, so to speak, to make sure we have an all clear. When we go into that assembly area, we're going to wait for the building captain to clear the building and come to your assembly area to get any information on missing folks and review instructions for a real emergency. The building captains are going to notify those folks at that building when you can return to your classroom. The catapult system message will go out ending the drill once all buildings have been cleared. So we really want to support those building captains so we make it easy on them. Hey, if you're leaving an office space, hey, nobody else is in here. Cool, heading out the door, right? We want to make this as easy for those folks as possible because they're going to have to cover some real estate, some of these buildings, right? Go ahead, next slide, please. So for everybody, we want to review the maps of the building so that you understand the evacuation routes in those assembly areas. If there's missing information, for example, if it seems like there should be a map in a certain part of your building, make sure we request that from Brian Epp or Chief Ferris. You should learn the location of fire extinguishers and fire alarms in the areas where you work. If you notice anything missing or out of whack, make sure you get a hold of Mr. Epp, and make sure you signed up for the catapult system. That's really going to be our go-to for the alerting system. But keep in mind, things happen, right? Anything about technology, we have redundancy. We make sure that we have a secondary and tertiary means of communicating with you. So while you may expect that notification, it might be delayed. Different carriers have different challenges, but we're going to use that as our primary notification, and we'll note any challenges that we may experience with that. Yeah, one more slide, maybe. I do not. I'm open for questions if that's appropriate, President.
I just wanted to say great job, Dale. You were chosen for this job because you are a professional, a fire professional. And yeah, no, that was really, really good. Any questions at all for Dale? If not, I'm going to turn the next part over to VPI, Jeremy Brown.
Thank you both. Okay, so some general Office of Instruction updates. The spring 2023 schedule, not 2022, would be pretty late to be entering the spring 2022 schedule in Colleague. Spring 2023 schedule is being put into Colleague so that we can move forward on producing the PDF version for students to review in preparation for registration. Summer fall 2023 scheduling process has begun. Deans and directors have been working with faculty already, and that will continue. We are planning to move forward to start a recruitment in the near future for a director of special programs for dual enrollment. This is an area in our EMP that is one area of growth for the college, and so we believe that having a director for this program will help us and help coordinate those efforts. Dr. Michael Bagley has done a tremendous job, but I'm sure that he is very happy to hear, I know he's very happy to hear that we can have someone help him with that work. You should all have seen that the staffing committee, faculty staffing requests are out. Those will be due October 19th. should also have seen my email to the full-time faculty about coordinator recruitments for beginning in 2023-24. Letters of interest are due for those October 14th. The ones that are currently open, we have a few others that we'll be working on, but should come open shortly thereafter. Currently, we have the curriculum committee co-chair, the distance education coordinator, equity coordinator, outcomes coordinator, and Puente coordinator. And then I'm very sad to say this. Congratulations to Sarah Gayton, who has accepted the role of pending board approval, unless I can talk the board into not approving, has accepted the role of HR analyst in our district office, and will be starting there officially full-time at the end of October. So congratulations to Sarah. She will be very much missed, but congratulations, and we will be looking to fill her unfillable shoes here in the Office of Instruction. So that is my general Office of Instruction update. With that, I will hand it off to Dean of CTE and Workforce Development, Dwayne Newman.
Good afternoon, everybody. So in this division, we've been, as everyone has, working on normal operations. And what I will say as kind of a new person to the system is that the normal operations include an abnormally large amount of work. And so I just wanted to put a spotlight on some of our key employees and colleagues in that area that really make all that work happen. Rosa Packard, Gloria Garcia, Corey Gill, and Devin Coates really have been instrumental in keeping the wheels turning as things have progressed this term. So I just wanted to say how much we appreciate them and thank them publicly for all their hard work. What we've been doing in the division is working on a division-wide strategic plan that aligns obviously to the educational master plan. Each department in the division is trying to look ahead 3 to 4 years and plan out what projects they'd be working on and how we're going to find the resources to make those projects happen. In each of those plans, there's a component of marketing, and I've been working with Dean Tucci on the marketing piece of it, but we want to really utilize some grant money that we have, and we're reaching out to a professional marketing firm to get the word out about our programs. And it'll be a combination of come to Yuba College for your degree, your AS and AD degrees and your transfer degrees, and also come here for the certificates and things that we offer through some of the CTE programs. And right now that's going to be a very targeted approach. We're thinking that we want to do a very narrow demographic and try to reach those people in those age brackets and those other demographic brackets that are most likely to come here. So more to come on that. That'll be passed up the chain, obviously, for approval before we roll it out. But that's one of the things that we're working on. The other thing I've been working on here is connecting with local businesses myself and trying to connect the instructors with local businesses beyond what they've already been doing. I've been working specifically with some manufacturing folks and some folks in the restaurant business to try to make those connections, get feedback on the programs that we're running, ideas for improvement that we could fold into the strategic plan, those kinds of things. Also been connecting with our K-12 partners, trying to encourage them to emphasize what we have to offer here at the college and try to get them to direct students here in preference to other places that they might go for the things that we offer here. We're also working hard on scheduling some events and preparing for those events. We've got the Maker Faire upcoming. We've got a couple of college fairs that are actually happening at other colleges that we've been invited to, things like that. And then the other thing that we're doing is we're hosting a couple of tours for regional folks that are coming in to look at our programs. And particularly we have one coming up that wants to, where some folks from up north want to come in and see how we're doing vet tech so well. I've got another tour going on because we have a business group out of Sacramento that wants to come and do a presentation or a training for folks that are interested in starting up their own local restaurant business here in the Yuba area. So that's the stuff that's been going on in a nutshell. I'm trying to be real quick here. And I'm going to wrap it up and pass it on to our Vice President of Student Services, Dr. Tonya Teresh.
Thank you very much, Dean Newman. Hi, everybody. This is my second YuZoom. Working here a little over a month, feeling a little bit more settled. Just wanted to give you some overarching updates from the Division of Student Services so that you have a sense of what's happening with us. You may know that we have a lot of employee vacancies and many recruitments happening at once. And so our team is working as hard as they possibly can while these vacancies are in recruitment. But most offices actually have multiple vacancies. And I know everybody feels like they'd like to help another office to help out as much as they can. And obviously everybody can't process a FAFSA. Everyone can't help in the financial aid office or help at the counseling front desk. But the whole campus community can help us by responding to those requests to being on recruitment committees. Sometimes that is actually what delays a recruitment process, is just the time it takes to form a committee. So make sure you're EEO trained, sign up for one of those committees and help us fill these vacancies over here in Student Services. Next, just very briefly, I want you to know that we do have a deep understanding that our students have physical and mental health needs as we return back to campus post-COVID. And we are working for to find some options to provide these services for students. So as we make progress, we will keep you updated as a campus community. And then last, it is transfer season. October and November every year is the time that our students are starting that stressful process of applying to be admitted the following year to the UCs and the CSUs. So please encourage students to see their counselors, encourage students to think in advance about their transfer pathway. Many students are surprised that they're starting this transfer application process really a whole year in advance, or what feels like a year in advance. So anything you can do in your offices, in your classrooms to remind students that now is the time, please help us out. And now I'm going to turn it over to Counseling Director Chris Sanchez.
Hello, everybody. So as we start thinking about the spring semester, I know we're only halfway through the fall, but we do need to start thinking about spring. Registration begins on Monday, November the 14th. So faculty members, please encourage your students to schedule an appointment with a counselor if they're not sure what classes they should be taking for the spring, or maybe they want to review their educational plan. So these are the different methods that a student can take to schedule an appointment. They can walk to the 100B building. They can use their cell phone and give us a call. They can go online through eSARS and schedule their appointment, or they could attend our virtual Zoom room and schedule an appointment that way. It's just important that students are aware of the classes that they need to be taking, and we are here to help them. Thank you. And I'll pass the on to Jennifer.
Thank you, Chris. As you may have heard already, we are having a Maker Faire on campus on October 15th. And we need some help. So we are calling for programs and departments if they would like to showcase. Or if you just want to come and help out, feel free to reach out to me. There is on the website a sign-up form. It is pretty long, and some of the questions apply more to the public than it does to us internally. So trying to make it easy on everybody, you can just email me and reach out, let me know that you want to participate, and I will take care of it for you. So that's all I have to update for today, and I'm going to hand it off to Marcy Lang.
Hi, everyone. Happy October. This is the month that the U.S. Department of Labor has designated as National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Our district and Yuba College joins this tribute to the accomplishments of those with disabilities whose work helps keep the nation's economy strong and we reaffirm our collective commitment to ensure equal opportunity for all citizens. On October 18th, Access Air will be hosting a webinar featuring Judy Human, an internationally recognized disability rights advocate. She has grassroots experience in the disability rights movement in the United States. This event on the 18th is from 1 to 2:30 our time, and I've included the link to register. I encourage you to participate in this if you're interested in learning more about the history of disability rights in our country. I also want to remind you that there are funds available from the college for the captioning of media, for instructional courses, as well as for program videos, both instructional or student services. Also, the DECT grant has recently announced that their eligibility for funding has been expanded, and colleges no longer need to certify that a student with a documented accommodation is registered in the class for which we're requesting the DECT funding. So with both of these resources available, our college is in a great position to ensure that all of our media meets accessibility standards. We all differ in the ways that we process information, and high quality learning environments include presentations of concepts in multiple styles. Those committed to accessibility and inclusive learning through universal design claim that captioning provides an additional representation of information, allowing individuals to engage in a way that may be more effective for their learning style. And studies show that access to captions can contribute to higher literacy levels overall, benefiting both hearing students and those who are deaf or hard of hearing. So please review all of your materials. If you find media that needs attention, please contact Sean Melton, our DSPS Alt Media Specialist, for assistance with coordinating the services. And that's all that I have. I'm going to turn it over to David with the Bookstore. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is my first Zoom. I missed the last one, but I wanted to let everybody know that August rush was very successful. We did see an increase in headcount, increase in traffic in the bookstore. September was even better. Right now, what's really helping is a dual enrollment. It continues to drive sales, and I really want to thank Rosa Packard and Michael Bagley for making this all a success. It's a win-win for everybody. Today, we processed a $23,000 sale for East Nicholas. So a lot of the local schools, local students are really benefiting from this. So thank you to everybody that is involved in this. You know, it's great for the bookstore, it's great for the campus, and it's really good for the local high schools. Adoptions, the adoption campaign continues to move in the right direction. We did see the results in fall. We had a lot more books on the shelf on the first day of class. So, you know, that's just what I've been trying to preach, is get us the information early so we can get the books here early. And it's a win for the students. They have the materials on the first day of class. We are seeing some issues in automotive, trying to get those books here. We did see delays in that. We continue to see back orders for some chemistry lab notebooks. We did get word that some of the books, they're behind. They have over 8,000 units on back order. So there's a lot of campuses that are waiting on a lot of things that publishers, for some reason or another, just can't seem to get. We did have the Police and Fire Academy come to us and let us know that they would like to see if the bookstore can provide physical training gear for them. They wanted shorts, sweats, t-shirts, compression shorts, you know, everything that the cadets would need for physical training. So I got with our GM team, and they got back to me and said that they are able to make that happen. There was also some aluminum bottles that they requested. So we will be able to carry those in the near future. As soon as I get maybe a little bit more word, maybe you know, some pictures of the things that are come. We're going to carry them here in the bookstore. They will also be available for online sales for any alumni. So it's going to be a win. You know, I believe they're going to be blue with the Yuba College logo. They gave me specific details on what they wanted on the gear. So that is going to be coming. I did also reach out to the GM team. We have a great athletic program here, a lot of great athletic programs here on campus, but we just don't have representation here at the bookstore. I mean, I see the volleyball teams, baseball teams, everybody has shirts. It'd be great if we carried them here and they were available for students, for athletes, and for any alumni to purchase online as well. So I am working on that. So we are trying to just create a little bit of excitement here in the bookstore. We did bring in a lot of different foods. We have sandwiches now. There's a lot of different snacks, a lot of different drinks. So it's not just chocolate, gum, and candy. There is a little bit better selection now for everyone here. So slowly but surely, we're getting out of this pandemic. We are able to get more things into the store, and it is helping to drive traffic. So it's helping students come in. I know the cafeteria closes at 2, so we do get a lot of traffic in after 2 o'clock. And then on Fridays as well, when the cafeteria is closed, at least we have sandwiches and foods available for the people that are here on campus. So we're slowly making some changes here to make things better for everybody. And I appreciate all the support that I've gotten from all of you. I really enjoy working here with you all, but there's more big things to come here. So I'll keep you guys updated as I get more information.
Thank you,
And then
David.
the next one, this is a short presentation on OER, ZTC, and LTC. The main audience for this presentation is faculty, but it's informational for everybody. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, and my name is Elena Flax. I am the librarian at Yuba College, and I'm also the OER liaison with the AACCC. The SB 1359 requires that we identify with the college sections that are zero textbook cost, and that we inform students in the schedule for these sections. ZTC means zero textbook cost. It means that there's no associated costs for students other than true material costs. They may still be required to purchase a calculator or supplies. ZTC doesn't mean that materials are digital or openly licensed. And they may have a cost, but it's not passed along to students. Next slide. So what are some of the types of materials a ZTC class would use? They might use an OER textbook or open educational resources. They might use open access materials, which are different from OER. You will see in the next slide. Perhaps they use no textbook, or maybe all the textbooks are purchased for students by the college or another department for all students in a class section. Or maybe it's a textbook that is provided by the college library for all students. It might be an ebook that's available for everybody. And what is an example of incorrect use of a ZTC class? That would be if somebody obtained a copyrighted textbook and then added it in their Canvas shell and called it a ZTC. So that would be incorrect. That would violate the copyright laws. Next slide, please. You might have heard open educational resources, OER, quite a bit. So those include full courses, course materials, modules, textbooks, streaming video, tests, and so on. They're openly licensed. They can be used for teaching, learning, research, and other purposes. Let's go to the next slide. The Creative Commons licenses that are associated with OERs are 5 Rs. It means you can own a copy. You can use it in a wide range of ways. You can adapt it. You can modify and improve the textbook. You can combine 2 or more textbooks. You can share them with others. So that's retain, reuse, revise, remix, and redistribute. The 5 Rs of OER. Next slide. ZTC means there's no charge to students. OER means openly licensed materials that permit the user to retain, reuse, revise, remix, and redistribute. And services associated with OER may result in it being offered for a fee. For instance, if a student If you have an OER textbook and the student wants to print it, there might be a fee for the printing. A ZTC class means that any required textbook can be accessed online for free, or that there isn't a textbook, as I mentioned earlier. There is another designation that's called LTC, low textbook cost class. And it means that the total textbook cost for this class is $20 or less. Next slide. And as I mentioned earlier, there are also open access materials, which could be used in a ZTC section. It means that the materials may not be normally offered for free. Maybe they have some copyright limitations, but they have been made fully available for free. So if you're using those, that would be a ZTC class. Next. So zero textbook cost means there's no cost to the student. It may or may not include OER. Next. If you're using open access and zero textbook cost materials, be sure to always follow the terms of use. If there are no permissions that are specified on the material, treat them as fully copyrighted, and access should be provided by linking out the source content rather than attaching it in Canvas. For instance, rather than attaching an article from a library database, it would be more appropriate to link it in Canvas. Next. This is for your information, a couple of examples where you might find some OER or ZTC examples. One of them is the Yuba College Library OER resources page. I will be sending out this week to all faculty a survey asking you to let us know if you will be, for spring 2023, if you'll be using a ZTC or LTC material. And you will be, so hopefully you will see that email and respond. Thank you. And next is Melissa Ha, who is the Vice President of the Academic Senate.
Hi, everyone. So we have a couple updates from the Academic Senate. One is that we voted to establish an OER work group. We're currently working on the charter and membership for that. Also, I actually have updated information compared to what's listed in the slide here. We did approve an approval process for new programs. So this would be like a degree or certificate that we don't already have that's coming through. So in the past, this would just come to curriculum committee immediately. Now we have a process where the person making the program will get feedback from departmental faculty, from the dean, get budget feedback, and then that will go to the Academic Senate, and the Academic Senate will vote to approve or not approve the new program. And only if the Academic Senate votes to approve it, then it would go to curriculum for the technical review. So anybody who is working on a new program, this will be in effect starting on October 15th. So if you submit something before then, you would just launch it in eLumen, sort of going through the previous process. If you're launching a program on October 15th or later, then you would follow this new process. And I did send an email out to all faculty about that. And then lastly, we began to talk about intellectual property as it relates to the 10+1, and we will have more information on that as we continue to discuss it. Next slide, please. So also the Academic Senate wanted to start highlighting some of our faculty. We're also busy. It can be easy to overlook, what everybody is working on, and we have amazing faculty here who are doing a lot of extra things and really going above and beyond to support our students. So for this YuZoom, we'd like to highlight the contributions of Liberty Harrison. So she started at Yuba College as part-time faculty in spring 2016. In 2019 to 2020, she worked on improving the Improving Online CTE Pathways grant. As part of that, she created 2 online degrees for the business department and also updated office administration certificates. She also worked on restructuring several different business programs into one main department. She helps with updating courses to meet new industry standards, participated on the program review committee, And in general, it's just really available to volunteer on campus and off campus for outreach events. And I want to read this quote from Liberty. She says, "Communication and teamwork has been my biggest motto in my life. The only way to succeed in life is to be able to communicate and work with those around you. This is the motto I share in every one of my lectures." So I just want to say thank you to Liberty Harrison for everything she does. I don't know if she's here and would like to say anything.
Just thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Liberty. And that's all we have from the Academic Senate.
Thank you, Melissa, and congrats to Liberty. Before we jump into question and answer, I want to give a plug. Cassie Leal posted about the trunk or treat activity that will be coming up. So I believe there's been information posted about that, but that is on October 28th. And there's information. She posted the flyer. So please look for more information about that or reach out to Cassie, Christy Page, or Sarah Gayton, and there's an RSVP link in the attachment as well. Also, there was a question in the chat. Is David still here about bookstore hours? If you can share the current bookstore hours.
Yeah, I posted it on there, Jeremy. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and we're usually here till about 4:30. So if somebody knocks on the door, we're gonna let you in. If you're here early, I mean, I've got the registers out there by 8:30. So if somebody needs pumpkin spice coffee, you can come in and grab your pumpkin spice coffee. I'll let you in. But you also have to get a muffin.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Okay, well, if not, that is the end of our YuZoom. If you will stay around for a few minutes if there are some questions, but otherwise have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week.